Do you still think Walmart is the same everywhere you go? Think again. The version of Walmart in China will completely change your mind about that. From live swimming creatures in the seafood section to glass display cases showcasing $1,000 liquor, the 23 bizarre things in this video actually exist. They aren't rumors. You'd be awesome if you subscribe and like this video. Whole black chicken, silky chicken. You step into the fresh food section, look at the refrigerated display shelf, and see a chicken. But it isn't like any chicken you've ever seen before. Its skin is a dark grayish black. The meat is grayish black. Even the bones are black. You'll take a second look just to make sure you aren't mistaken. And the answer is no, you aren't mistaken. This is black chicken, also known as silky chicken, one of the most sought-after ingredients in East Asian cuisine for hundreds of years. What makes it pricier than a standard chicken comes down to its intended purpose. Chinese consumers don't buy this bird to grill at a weekend BBQ or deep fry to a crisp. They buy it to braise with ginseng, goji berries, and red dates, brewing it into a health-restoring soup for postpartum mothers, elderly patients recovering from illness, or anyone in the family who has just gotten over being sick. Completely different from the way we choose chicken, where we look at the protein label, fat content, and the size of the meat cut. People here select chicken based on its medicinal effects on the body, and this black chicken is how Walmart China holds on to its most demanding customers. This is only the beginning, because coming up next, you'll be surprised to find even stranger things that you would never imagine existing at Walmart. Shark heads. If you stand in front of the fresh seafood counter at a Chinese Walmart for the first time, the thing that stops you in your tracks won't be the smell or the noise. It will be an iced-over shark head staring right back at you. Not a fillet, not a pre-sliced piece wrapped in plastic wrap. It's an entire intact head sitting on crushed ice as if that were the most normal thing in the world. Shark heads are purchased to cook nutritious pots of soup or to simmer for their cartilage. Cartilage that Chinese people consider beneficial for bones and joints and use in many traditional remedies. And if you're wondering whether this practice will continue over the next few years, the answer right now is that no one can say for sure. Giant rice and grain bins. Instead of a pre-packaged 5 to 10 pound bag of rice that has been sealed and clearly labeled, one you toss into your cart and move on from in 15 seconds, the rice and dry grains aisle at Walmart China is a completely different experience. Right in the center of the dry goods aisle are large wooden or plastic bins filled to the brim with various types of rice, beans, and grains. You grab a plastic scoop yourself, scoop what you need into a bag, and take it to be weighed based on your demand. No fixed packaging, no pre-printed labels. You take exactly as much as you need for the week, no more, no less. The very first question that pops into your head will undoubtedly be about sanitation. But for local shoppers, this is the only authentic way to buy rice. Pork floss donuts. You look at the bakery display case and see donuts that look familiar. The shape is right, the color is right, and the aroma coming from the oven is right too. You pick one out, take a bite, and realize something isn't quite right. It isn't the sweet taste of icing sugar. It isn't strawberry cream or chocolate. What you're tasting is savory, rich, and lightly fibrous like meat. That is pork floss, shredded dry pork or chicken that has been toasted until light and fluffy as cotton, piled heavily over a layer of sweet and savory mayonnaise on top of the pastry. Pork floss is so popular that people use it almost the way we use peanut butter, sprinkled over morning porridge, eaten with bread, or mixed into rice. There is one thing at Walmart China that even the world's largest retail chain wouldn't dare sell in the US. Not because it's dangerous, but because nobody here would ever think it could be food. Live frogs and turtles sold side by side. Walmart China doesn't have a pet section. What you're looking at is the fresh food counter. Frogs, soft-shell turtles, crabs, and fish are all live in glass tanks right in the middle of the seafood section. Customers hold net scoops to hand-pick the exact ones they want, and associates prep them on the spot upon request. Fresh here means literally fresh. The animal is alive right up until moments before you take it home to cook. Buying pre-packaged chilled frogs is, to many local shoppers, accepting a secondary level of quality when there is no reason to accept it while live tanks are sitting right there. These live tanks are also the exact reason Walmart China can compete with traditional wet markets, where homemakers have bought food this way for generations, not by offering lower prices, but by serving up to the standards of the most demanding shoppers. Whole frozen crocodiles. In major cities, you'll easily come across whole crocodiles sitting proudly on ice trays, complete with skin intact and large enough in size that no one walks past without stopping to look. Customers stand and point directly at the exact part they want: tail meat, torso meat, or the whole head section, and associates cut and weigh it right on the spot. Seeing the whole animal is the only way to be sure you're getting exactly what you're paying for. Pre-processed, pre-cut, pre-packaged meat implies a middle layer of processing that you have no control over. Alligator and crocodile meat is also considered to have warming properties according to traditional folk medicine, supporting respiratory conditions. Enough people believe in that to make it an item with genuine demand at many stores in southern China. On-site seafood processing stations. After picking out live seafood at the counter, you can take it straight to the kitchen area right inside the supermarket where chefs prepare it to order, and you sit down to eat right on the spot. The supermarket, restaurant, and delivery hub all operate within the exact same space, with the boundaries between them virtually non-existent. Look up at the ceiling and you'll see an automated conveyor belt system moving continuously. That is an online order that a store associate just finished picking, on its way to the staging area for delivery in under 60 minutes. Over 75% of Walmart China's online orders are delivered to homes in under 1 hour, and they handle over 500 million orders per quarter. While the click-and-collect model in the US is still considered convenient, Walmart China already operates a system where the supermarket itself is a warehouse, a restaurant, and a fulfillment center all at the same time. That is the real reason they don't just survive, but thrive in one of the most competitive markets in the world. Walmart China has a type of promotion that you won't find at any supermarket in the US. Not buy one, get one, not discounts, but pairing two completely unrelated items together into a single product set and placing it on store shelves as if it were the most normal thing. Dozens of different types of eggs. The egg section here always needs more than just a single shelf. You will see chicken eggs, duck eggs, quail eggs, goose eggs, and right next to them are century eggs. Eggs that have been cured in a mixture of clay, wood ash, and salt for several weeks until the egg whites turn into a transparent black jelly and the yolks turn a dark grayish green. Century eggs are often the item that triggers the strongest reaction when you see them for the first time. Their color, texture, and smell are unlike anything familiar. Yet this is an indispensable ingredient in the morning plain rice porridge of millions of families, eaten alongside salted eggs and shredded ginger. Snickers bars sold bundled with batteries. You plan to grab a Snickers bar only to realize there's a blister pack of AA batteries attached to the back. No explanatory sign, no promotional note, two completely unrelated items taped together and placed on the shelf as if it were the most normal thing in the world. In reality, it makes sense in its own way. This is a common mixed promotional strategy in the Chinese retail market, pairing hard-to-sell products with high-volume buys. Batteries are something people only remember to buy when they already need them. Snickers, on the other hand, is something everyone reaches for without thinking. As a result, shoppers buying candy also end up taking home a backup pack of batteries they had no prior plans to purchase. Canned cooking oil bundled with orange juice. You wouldn't think how interesting Walmart can be until you walk past the dry goods aisle and spot a 1.3-gallon jug of cooking oil tightly taped right next to a carton of orange juice. It looks like a single product until you read the label and realize these are two entirely different things. This approach isn't random. Cooking oil is a guaranteed must-buy. Orange juice is a new product that needs exposure. By strapping them together, the oil buyer automatically brings the orange juice home whether they want to or not, while the manufacturer doesn't spend a single dime on advertising. Up next is the reason why a nation of over 1 billion people once stopped trusting supermarkets for years, and Walmart was one of the names involved in that story. Fox meat sold under the label of donkey meat. This isn't a weird story in a cultural sense. This was a real food scandal, investigated, confirmed, and leading to clear legal consequences. In 2013, Chinese authorities discovered that products sold under the 5-spice donkey meat label at several major supermarket chains, including Walmart, actually contained fox meat DNA. To understand why this happened, you need to know where donkey meat stands in northern Chinese cuisine. There is a famous saying in Hebei province that goes, "In heaven there is swan meat, on earth there is donkey meat." It's a highly sought-after delicacy with a high price tag and a demand far greater than the supply. Fox meat, on the other hand, is cheap with a plentiful supply from fur farms, but it carries a distinct foul odor. Unscrupulous suppliers used chemicals to deodorize it and blended it into donkey meat, driving up profits while buyers remained completely unaware. Walmart issued a public apology, recalled the products, and paid compensation. Bottled meat broth. If you glance quickly at the beverage shelf, you'll miss it. Plastic bottles that look like ordinary mineral water with a light brown liquid inside sit right next to various juices. But this is concentrated bone broth, pre-bottled to drink directly or use for cooking. Chinese people have been simmering bones for broth for hundreds of years, not because they lacked other things to drink, but because bone broth is considered beneficial for joints, skin, and the digestive system according to traditional folk medicine. Younger generations living in city apartments and working all day no longer have time for that, and this bottle is the most practical answer to that problem. Although the name sounds unusual, in essence, this is the exact same bone broth you pay quite a bit of money for at health food stores in the US. Hyper-localized flavor variant snacks. The snack section at Walmart China looks familiar on the outside. Brands you know are all present, but when you read the flavors on the packaging, you're reading an entirely different list. Lay's here features flavors that don't exist in any other market. Hot and sour fish hot pot, refreshing cucumber, Sichuan spicy grilled beef, cherry blossom, and abalone soup. These flavors aren't random experiments. Every single one underwent extensive market research, and many of them outsell traditional flavors right in the domestic market. Unrefrigerated sausages. Entire bins of sausages piled high or hung in clusters right in the middle of the aisle. Room temperature, no refrigerator, no ice. The first reaction of most outsiders looking in is to question the hygiene. But this is traditional Chinese cured sausage, lap cheong, a type of sausage with a high salt content and a moisture level so low that bacteria simply have no environment to grow. In essence, this is no different from European salami or chorizo, cured, fermented meats that people hang in shops without refrigeration. Meanwhile, US Walmarts mandate that every type of sausage reside in the freezer or cooler section because their standards are built around fresh, unprocessed meat. Chinese cured sausages are pre-cured, and room temperature doesn't change that. And instead of being pre-packaged in plastic wrap, the sausages are hung in clusters or poured into wooden bins so customers can select them based on their dryness, color, and size. Hanging whole dried squid. Passing through the dried seafood section, the first thing that hits your eyes isn't pre-packaged boxes, but giant squids hanging vertically from wooden bars. Displaying them this way isn't to impress customers, but to let them inspect the quality themselves before buying. Whether dried squid is good or not depends on its color, even dryness, and natural aroma. Experienced buyers can distinguish sun-dried squid from industrially dried squid just by looking and smelling, and this display setup gives them the right to do so. Dried squid is an irreplaceable natural sweetener in many Chinese soups and hot pots, as well as a popular bar snack in coastal provinces. It's the exact same ingredient you can find at Asian supermarkets in the US, but the buying experience is completely different. Up next is something Walmart actually sells, but if you read the label without knowing Chinese, you'd think you were buying something entirely different, and that confusion isn't funny at all. Diet water. Bottled mineral water labeled diet water, promising to help burn calories and containing zero sugar. Water, diet. Two words no one would ever think to place next to each other on a real product. Yet this was a real product, and it once sold very well. The Chinese market in the early 2000s witnessed an explosive wave of health products where anything stamped with the word diet or sugar-free pulled in buyers. The water was purified through a special process, bottled more luxuriously, and marketed as a premium product for health-conscious consumers. It sounds absurd, but this isn't a phenomenon unique to China. Alkaline water, hydrogen water, or oxygen water in the US all operate under the exact same logic, taking what is fundamentally ordinary water, adding a processing method and a health narrative, and selling it at a price many times higher. Dried reptile body parts, dried lizards, geckos, and snakes strung together on cords or pre-packaged are displayed right inside the supermarket, not in the grocery aisle, not in the snack section, but in the medicinal section right next to ginseng and other traditional herbs. These are ingredients of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, used for steeping in medicinal liquor or brewing into tonic teas to boost vitality and aid in joint treatment. Geckos in particular hold high value in traditional medicine, believed to support the respiratory system and enhance physical stamina. The fact that Walmart places these products right on store shelves demonstrates that the boundary between supermarket and pharmacy in China isn't as rigid as what we're used to seeing. Dried starfish sold in bins. In addition to dried squid and other dried seafood varieties, there are large wooden bins filled to the brim with whole dried starfish. Customers use tongs to pick out individual starfish into bags and bring them over to be weighed, just like buying any other dried seafood item. For most Americans, starfish is something you see in a tank at an aquarium or buy as a souvenir after a trip to the beach. The idea of eating it has never even crossed anyone's mind. In China, it's a different story. Dried starfish is deep fried as a bar snack or dropped into stew pots, and according to traditional folk medicine, it possesses cooling properties that help clear body heat, detoxify, and nourish the kidneys. Whole pig face. The entire skin and facial muscles of a pig is peeled off intact, laid out flat on a tray and put on sale like any other cut of meat in the supermarket. There's nothing special about the presentation, no explanatory signs, and no notes. It just sits there as if it were completely normal, because to shoppers here, it genuinely is. Pig face is braised or made into master stock stew, lu mai, a collagen-rich dish that Chinese people consider good for the skin and a traditional bar snack in many regions. And this is the nose-to-tail approach, using the entire animal, that high-end Western chefs currently praise as a sustainable culinary trend. But in reality, Chinese people have been doing it long before the concept of a food trend ever existed. Horse milk. Sitting right next to standard containers of cow's milk is a tin of powdered milk made from horse milk, a specialty of Xinjiang and Inner Mongolia. If you don't read the label carefully, you won't notice the difference until you get home and mix it up. Mary's milk contains higher levels of lysozyme than cow's milk, has less fat, and has been trusted by Mongolian nomads for hundreds of years to support digestion and boost immunity. The powdered form exists simply because it's more convenient to ship from distant steppe regions to major cities without losing its nutritional value. This represents the biggest gap between Walmart China in 2026 and any supermarket model you've ever known. Traditional Chinese medicine section inside the supermarket. Instead of a pharmacy counter selling Tylenol, blood pressure medication, or multivitamins like we usually see, the pharmacy area at Walmart China dedicates a separate display space to ginseng, cordyceps, goji berries, dried chrysanthemum flowers, and dozens of other traditional herbs. At some stores, there is even an in-house practitioner sitting to consult and write prescriptions on the spot, and locals swing by to ask a quick question while grocery shopping as if it were the most normal thing in the world, because to them it genuinely is. In-store massage and service areas. If you think a supermarket is just a place where you walk in, grab your items, and walk out, Walmart China will change your mind about that. Along the supermarket aisles, you'll see massage chairs that can be paid for instantly via QR code, herbal foot soak areas, and even quick service barber shops, all neatly contained within the supermarket footprint. This isn't a random customer magnet trick. A trip to the supermarket in China, especially for older individuals, is often an extended event rather than a task that needs to be completed quickly. People come not only to buy groceries, but also to rest and take advantage of affordable convenience services right on the spot. Keeping people around longer increases the likelihood that they'll buy more. But unlike maze-like psychological tactics or hiding the exit, this approach offers something of real value. And that's the reason it works. Premium Baijiu Maotai displayed in security glass cases. Right in the middle of the beverage section, there is a locked glass security display case showcasing bottles of Kweichow Maotai, brand Baijiu priced from a few hundred to several $1,000s per bottle. It sits right next to budget liquor brands distributed directly by Walmart. Baijiu isn't simply a beverage. In China, a bottle of top-tier Maotai is a networking tool at important business dinners and the most luxurious gift choice during holidays and special occasions. Its value doesn't lie in the flavor, but in the message the giver wants to send. Certain special editions of Maotai are even viewed as investment assets, appreciating over time much like fine French wine. This is how they simultaneously serve the everyday weekly shopper and the new middle class in need of a trusted destination to buy high-end gifts. Walmart China isn't weird, it's simply the clearest evidence that the exact same thing can look completely different when placed in the right culture and with the right people. Once you understand that, you'll look at everything around you a little differently. Not just supermarkets,